Why should there be such a special interest in a Jewish person being an athlete? Aren't Jews like everyone else? I mean, in terms of American immigrants from Europe or wherever?
You know, that's a very good question. That's one question I've never been asked, and I think my only answer to that, without having to think whether or not I should be politically correct in my answer, is that I think that it just seems like there's so few Jewish athletes that have attained world recognition, when I don't think that's actually really accurate. You know, there aren't as many Jewish people in the world, and so therefore our pool of getting the percentage of people that we are athletes is less. So therefore, theoretically, that number should be less. You know, if you're talking about a population that's, you know, a 10 million population versus, you know, 350 million people, then if every country is going to have 2% athletes, then obviously you do the math. There's going to be less available that come from the Jewish community. I don't know why they make a big deal out of it. I mean, I think they make a big deal out of the Jewish people saying, well, I don't want my kid to be wasting his time being an athlete because I'd rather him be the doctor or the lawyer, you know, or something else that has a professional aspect to it. Because I don't know if there's really a lot of professional athletes that really could have a long-term career being a professional athlete as opposed to another type of a profession.
How do you feel about what happened to Tal, having given up essentially a life of either a professional salary or celebrity endorsements of products and things for his Zionism?
Well, he made it a point, and I've known Tal for, I don't know, 40 years, 48 years or something, no, 54 years. The NBA wasn't what it was back then. I mean, he would have made $12,000 or whatever he said was the minimum salary, and he probably would have made a lot more than that. But he also made a life for himself that was of equivalent in dollars, supporting himself by taking Aliyah to live in Israel. And then he started his family there, which became paramount and important to him. That wasn't the same. But he did admit that had things been today what they were back then for him, that he probably would have taken the money. But the reality is that, and he still could have perhaps at a later time gone to Israel, you know. But that's, I mean, we can always money quarterback our whole life, you know. Well, what if this happened? I could have done that, you know. If I knew the stock was going to go up, I'd have thrown the kitchen sink at it. You're right.
You've come out recently. Were you diagnosed with A-fib officially a year ago or so?
Yeah. August of last year, I had an episode and I didn't even know what it was, so I was rushed to the hospital and they told me that I was in A-fib and I was not having a heart attack, and that it was going to be with me for the rest of my life pretty much, and I'm on medication to control the heart rate being lower, and it's a standard type of a medication protocol and a blood thinner. So, you know, it took me a while to adjust to the idea that why could this happen to me? Here I was this athlete and I thought I was in shape. I wasn't really in shape, like close to 70 years old, but you know, I had a history of taking care of myself. I watched my diet, but I was informed that it really has nothing to do with that. And it turns out that athletes that were extreme athletes that trained under a tremendous amount of pressure have a predisposition of, I think, over 35% chance to get A-fib after the age of 50. And I just became part of that statistic.
Did you have arrhythmia or tachycardia or both?
Well, I had a fast heartbeat that went up to about 160, which was A-fib, and they controlled it with the medication to get my heart rate down to be normal. I haven't had an incident in almost a year, so, but I keep abreast of what's happening, monitoring it all the time.
Before you had taken that medication, had you had any incidents?
I had never had any incident leading up to that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, fortunately for me, I know when I'm in A-fib. Most people don't know when they're in A-fib. I mean, I can feel my heart racing, and it feels like, because I'm so in tune with my body, it would be like if I had just, you know, swam like a 1,500-meter freestyle all out, and then when I get through swimming, well, my heart rate would come down, and that would actually get my breath back, so to speak. Well, I don't get my breath back, so I know that that's an issue. But I know how to take care of that if that happens. It's only happened about 2 times since that incident, all in the first like 3 or 4 months, getting regulated medication-wise, and I haven't, fortunately for me, had an issue. I take an extra pill, which I've had to do on 2 different occasions. I mean, I take it like 2 times over a sequence of about 20 hours. But it doesn't make me nervous anymore because I'm not going to die from it because I'm on medication that prevents blood clotting and stuff like that. So, it's never having been really sick. That was quite a thing for me to overcome emotionally, and to figure out how I handle that. And so that's pretty much what I do about that.
Have people told you that you have put A-fib on the map for the people who, like me, who suffer it?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have an endorsement contract with this company called Cardiomobile, and our sales are really, they've quite improved. I guess the message has actually reached a lot of people, and I'm very pleased about that. And I think it's important. I think it's important that people understand that it's not something that is going to push them down, and there's, from a health point of view, that they can take care of that situation and live a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Get a quick selfie.